The next job, this was also an invite. Was the previous job an invite? It wasn't, or maybe it was, but this was an invite. Okay, the Imad Khalid job was an invite. And one thing you will notice about Upwork is immediately you've gotten your first job, right? Immediately you've gotten your first job, you start getting invites. You get what I'm trying to say? Especially if your profile is positioned right, you start getting invites after your first job, right? So then we move on. This was also an invite. Now this person I did not even really have much information about the person. First line writing based on LinkedIn profile or website, and all the person wrote was write a compliment on the company or their company on the prospect, or their company in a few words. And I said I don't get the person's name, so this one was just like more vanilla, right? Hello, thanks for the job invite. Here's a review from one of 2 clients I've helped get their first, second, and a couple more clients through God Devil first lines. It's a bit long, but should give you tangible reasons why you should hire me to work with you on your project. And I said Messiah, and I put in a testimonial that I had gotten from a client. And you notice, for me, testimonials are a very, very big part of the way I pitch, right? Testimonials are a very, very big part of the way I pitch. But then you don't need to have testimonials, and that's just the truth. Especially if you're new, you do not need to have testimonials. When I mentored Elo, she had 0 testimonials. When I mentored Amarachuko Noize, she had 0 testimonials. Did they not get jobs? Amarachuko Noize has made over $20,000 on Upwork so far. Elo made over $6,000 during that time, because the last time I spoke to her, she had to stop for a while. She had to stop freelancing for a while due to some personal issues. But she made over $6,000, right? Ajo Victor has made over $10,000. Did they start with testimonials? No, they were not like me. I cold emailed first. They did not. You understand what I'm trying to say? So you do not need, I'm still going to show you a framework where you do not need testimonials. All you need to do is go above and beyond, and that's just the truth, right? But if you are lucky enough to have testimonials, even though it's from a Nigerian client you've worked with, even though it's from a friend who you've helped design a flyer, you get what I'm trying to say? Ask for testimonials, make it sound professional, and use it. You get what I'm trying to say? Don't fake testimonials. Do not fake a review. You understand? With my framework, with the way I pitch, and the extra effort I take outside Upwork through emailing and through socials, you understand, through LinkedIn and Instagram, you do not need to fake. You understand? You can be you. You get what I'm trying to say? You can be you and still get these jobs. So now we have, hello, thanks for the job invite, and immediately I put in reviews. Here's a review, blah blah. I didn't even say much. I'd love to work with you on one and many more profitable cold email campaigns. Again, thanks for the job invite. Cheers. And I got this job. You get what I'm trying to see? How simple it is. But then the person did not give as much information as I'd want. Fine, but then the person also invited me to the job. I wanted to work. What will I do? I pitched for it. So simple. What I put is, thanks for the job invite. You appreciate. And then I put review just to show that, okay, yes, I have actually done this before for other people. I'd love to work with you. Bam, close it. Now moving on, we have copywriter for landing page. Now this was a guy, I think Abhinav Chadha was his name. He was the founder of Ipakula or Ipakula, something like that. So he said we are looking for someone who can write some outstanding copy for our landing page that makes it a robust conversion machine. This landing page would be regarding our service that enables our customers to get featured on high-ranking news channel websites, Fox, Forbes, ABC, etc., that in turn can be showcased to their incoming customers to increase their conversion rate, getting more visitors, and increasing the chances of verifications on platforms like Instagram, etc. We need the copy to be elegant, engaging, and persuasive. It should also make our users feel what they are currently missing on and influence them to go and click that purchase button. We will need someone who can write copy that takes into consideration the SEO implications of the same. The copy should be compliant to the latest copywriting standards out there. We have many projects in the pipeline, and if the candidate demonstrates extraordinary work with these projects, they would be a definite hire for us for our future upcoming projects. And yes, I worked with Abhinav Chadha for a while. It got to a point where I had to quit because after some time he started getting late with payments. He started, you understand, that sort of thing, giving more work and then saying just do it, I'll pay you, just do it, I'll pay you. And then I had to like stand my ground and be like, nah, pay me first. You get what I'm trying to say? And then he did, but then after a while I was just like, nah, I need to get out of this. It's not worth the headache, you understand? So I actually had to leave in the long run. But let me show you my pitch. Hi Abhinav, I got his name from his previous jobs. Thank you for the invitation. It was also an invitation. A client once hired me to write a press release it will be publishing through brandfeatured.com. So, which is brandfuture.com is a company that does the exact same thing that he is doing. You understand? So I had worked with a company which was Imad Khalid of Invischi, right? We had worked with brandfuture.com at some point in time where I wrote a press release and it got featured on, I don't even know why I'm not even putting that in my portfolio. I actually did write a press release that got featured on Fox, ABC News and all this. I think over 300 news site that it got featured on. Now it was intriguing, and also the first time I knew there were companies like that. Yes, I did not know there was anything like brandfuture.com. You see the honesty. You see, it's just, I'm just talking to you. I'm not just writing, but you know I'm talking to you. You get what I'm trying to say? The client knows I'm talking to them. It's not, I'm not just copying anything. I'm not just copying a template that no, I spend at least 30 minutes on each pitch just to make sure I'm delivering the best. You understand? Just to make sure it's personalized, just to make sure I'm talking to these guys. You understand? As directly as I can. I said I also had the same clients putting logos of credible news sites after the USP on another sales page, and we upped conversion by almost 3 times. So I said, so you see, I understand the importance of your company because I am also a target audience. I know what your audience wants to hear and how to influence them to buy because I am your audience. You get what I'm trying to say? Because I had done something. I had worked with a company who hired services like this. They said, because I am your audience, I know what we were looking for. You get what I'm trying to say? And I know the features, I know the benefits, I know why we actually hired this company, brandfuture.com, which was a leading competitor to Abinav's company at that point in time. I said, I've seen on my LinkedIn, here's what 2 clients had to say about my copy. Hopefully it will tick all your boxes. And I put Messiah's English is far better than most people from his area. His research skills are very good and his understanding of copywriting is great. I just put testimonials as usual. I put 2 testimonials. I almost always put 2 testimonials. A few times I put 1, but I always make sure the testimonial is relevant to what he wants. And then I ended it with, I also have experience with SEO, keyword research and copywriting, and I would love to work with you on this project. Cheers, Ekaite Messiah. And Abhinav Chada hired me and we worked at it for a while. Moving on. Okay, yeah, he also asked a few questions. I don't know, I guess I had this arranged wrong. Could you let us know about your experience and showcase some examples for the same? I said, I have proven experience writing persuasive copy and making extensive market research. I wrote the copy on the entire website in the following links. I put Middle Trust, Beep2, and Lafia. These were companies that had written their copies back then. How would your copy be able to improve our rankings? I have experience making extensive customer and keyword research. I can help with on-page SEO, writing optimized content. How good are you at researching a topic and writing about it? I'm 90% good at researching and writing about a topic. How much would you rate your skill on a 10? And I put 8.6. You see the honesty there, right? Even back then, maybe that's what I thought my skill was. But back then, right now, if I'm thinking of the work that I did back then, I was probably a 4, right? But now let's move on. This is another job. First line writer. I need to hire 3 freelancers. First line writer needed for cold email campaigns must be in perfect grammatical English. It must be so personalized that you couldn't send it to another person. It must be genuine and actually researched. He's looking for 100 first lines a week. We'll provide email recipients to write the first lines for. We'll also provide training on how I want first lines written. We'll pay $0.85 per first line written, and he expects 50 to 100 first lines written per week. I think this is actually Evan Winsberg. I think the arrangement of this might have been wrong. I think this is Evan Winsberg. So actually, I did not have Evan. I was not able to get Evan's name. I said hello, and I put testimonials immediately. Bam. I said, as seen on my LinkedIn, this testimonial was from a client I wrote 30 first lines for per day on a 5-day cold email campaign. I attached a document showing 153 first lines I wrote in the space of 5 days. If you like my writing style, I'd love to work on this project with you. Can you write in perfect grammatical English with no errors? Yes, I can. Can you research people on LinkedIn? Yes, not to brag, but I'm a really good researcher. Are you willing to spend time reading and watching training material? Yes. So this was Evan Winsberg, which was my first major cold email first line gig. So as I said, this might have been a bit rearranged, but this was one of my first major cold email first line writing gig. I got him a lot of clients and it was amazing. I had an amazing time with Evan Winsberg. I've worked with like 3 clients after Evan. I've worked with like 3 clients that Evan Winsberg directly introduced to me. So it was an amazing client to have. So now we have this B2B research personalized line for B2B emails. We're looking at enriching a B2B database with a personalized one-liner for each contact. You will find examples here and full instructions on what is needed and a small task to apply for the job. Important, job applications that do not start with the requested task will not be looked at. Not interested in reading anything else other than the quality of your work reflected in the task that was asked of you. It is critical that the first lines must be in perfect grammatical English, must be so personalized that you couldn't send it to anyone else besides that person, and it must be genuine and actually researched. Thank you. Now, his task was to write a first line to him, and that is what I did. So now, I, Juan, and I wrote the first line. I just watched your interview with Fiona Martin, and your point on needing to end the idea of perfection because it doesn't exist is gold. And then I went on, you need a writer who can deliver super personalized first lines for your business, and here are a few reasons why I am that writer. And I put it in there. So this is my credibility. This is showing that, okay, yes, I have actually worked. And I said I've written over 500 first lines for 4 clients, 3 of them here on Upwork. Like that number was definitely wrong at that point because I had written way more. Who kept hiring me because my first lines laid the groundwork for conversions. I also have a screenshot of a converted lead who complimented my first line and credited it to be the reason she replied to the email. What can I offer your business? I'd love to write super personalized first lines that guide your leads from cold to warm to repeat customers. I look forward to your job offer. So the first thing I did was, now the task that I had in that video was write a first line to me, which is what I did, right? And then I told him what he needs, which is, like I said, you paraphrase exactly what they ask of you, you paraphrase it back to them. And then I've written over 500 lines, so this is me just bragging about myself, right? And then I said, what can I offer to your business? And I put it back again, but still paraphrase. I'd love to write, you can see I wrote it twice. Let me show you in case you are not seeing what I'm clearly saying, right? Super personalized first lines here. Super personalized first lines here. You understand? Deliver super personalized first lines for your business. I put write super personalized first lines that guide your leads. So this is me just being what? I'm just paraphrasing from cold to warm to repeat customers, which is also showing that I know what I am doing. I look forward to your job offer. Cheers, Ochai Messiah. Now, what did I do after I reached out to Juan? I was able to get Juan's email. So this was 2 years ago. At that point, I had already started testing this overdue mentality of reaching out. You understand? Like I did for Imad Khalid. I reached out to him on Instagram, and this year I was already finding out ways to also reach out on email and all. So I did this. Hi Juan, I just watched your interview with Fiona Martin. So I put the exact same first line. I've written over 500 first lines and then I put some examples. Just wanted to email you and see if you'd be interested in the same for your business. I wrote the first line to you based on the directives I watched on the long video you shared on Upwork. Is this something you'd be interested in? And I put a PS there. While some have considered it spunk that I went the extra mile to send you this email, I understand it might also be intrusive. In which case, I apologize. I wouldn't go this far if I didn't know I could deliver the best job. And what did he say? I got the job immediately. Thanks, Messiah. I just messaged you on Upwork, and that's how I got the job with Juan Lopez Salaberry. And it was the first client to give me a bonus. He gave me $100 bonus. I was overjoyed, right? After working, he still gave me a bonus. That was really, really nice. But I did appreciate it. Now, moving on, this is also a first line writing job. Now, you can see, now, the good thing about this first line writing, right, is there's a section down in the code email section where what I did was I showed how to write first lines. Now you can see how much first lines I was got. You can see the amount of first lines that I have written, right? So at this point, so this was 3 years ago when I was still like starting, you understand? So this paid horribly. You get what I'm trying to say? This paid horribly. So this was also one, like, this is rearranged, but this is one of the first jobs I got. This paid horribly. You can see 100 first lines for $25. So that was when I was just getting on Upwork, but this was 3 years ago. And I pitched first line. He said starts with first line. Hello, and I put testimonial. I also have another 5-star review from another client referred by the first. Well, there's his first few clients, blah blah blah. And I have the sheets to prove it. Working with these clients and more first, I didn't just improve my first line writing skills, but it exposed me to different code emailing techniques. I think it might be pure good for your business. So this one, I don't really want to talk much about this one, right? But we have first line, hello, and then I put review, and then I told the person that, okay, yeah, I got the person here on Upwork. And I told the person I also have another 5-star review from another client referred by the first, who I helped get his first few clients writing super personalized first lines, and I have the sheets to prove it. Working, and this part is very important, and I have the sheets to prove it. Now, as much as possible, if you are able to prove your work, make sure you do, right? If you are able to prove your work, I'll say it again, if you are able to prove your work, make sure you do. Now, working with these clients and more on first lines didn't just improve my first line writing skills, but it exposed me to different cold emailing techniques I think might be pure gold for your business. I'd love to employ these techniques in writing 100 God level first lines for your business that is surefire to convert leads.